The main character is a young guy who likes to spend time playing computer games. It turns out that soon there will be an update in the young man's favorite game, in which magical abilities will be added. The guy decides to create a new character, and in order to increase his talent for magic, the main character assigns a lot of negative effects to the game character on his body. At this moment, the main character sees that black rays began to glow from the monitor, and immediately after that, the main character appears inside his favorite game in the body of the character he created. Inside the game, the main character named Lennox is an ordinary slave at a factory that creates an innovative invention called a Viper. It turns out that the Viper is able to increase a person's physical and magical abilities after the user draws in the smoke, which contains mana. After a while, Lennox accidentally overhears the conversation of his guards. Suddenly, the main character notices the boss has a Viper, and at this moment, the guy gets the opportunity to use the magic of light. All the next night, Lennox came up with a plan to escape from the factory. The next day, the guy decided to pretend to be dead so that he could be dragged outside the building. Suddenly, a man named Wang approaches the young man and gives the main character a Viper with mana. When Lennox is left alone, the guy uses a Viper and feels a surge of strength. The main character decides to come up with another plan and begins to act. The guy distracts one of the guards and with the help of magic kills the man. Lennox takes the gun from the dead man's corpse and goes to the parking lot. The young man steals the supervisor's car and goes to the checkpoint. With the help of firearms, the main character kills the guard and drives past the barrier. The main character ends up in an engineering city called Balkan. The whole environment is filled with mana and the latest technologies of mankind. Lennox decides to stay at the hotel and relax. The next day, the main character realizes that he has very little money left. Since the guy has no documents, he is forced to earn money dishonestly. With the help of magical abilities, the guy manages to find bandits from whom you can take money. Lennox decides to go to them, but feels very unwell. At this moment, the young man uses a Viper. Without difficulty, the main character manages to eliminate the bandits and save the man. Lennox searches the bodies of detractors and learns from the man he saved where you can earn money without documents. After a while, the main character visits the bar to which the man directed him. The guy changed his clothes and face so as not to reveal his true identity. In a bar, Lennox meets a girl named Jenny. As a result, the girl agrees to cooperate with the stranger and gives him the task of killing a man named Taylor, who tried to steal expensive equipment. After completing the task, Jenny was greatly surprised by the young man's abilities. In his spare time, the main character decided to go to the library to study the magic of this world. While reading books, a guy meets a girl named Eris. A young girl gives her business card to Lennox and claims that she can help him master magic. The guy decides to go to the market to buy vegetables. Suddenly, the main character is called by an unknown girl and claims that his mana scheme is very unique. Lennox buys vegetables from the girl and decides to leave quickly. After a while, the main character realizes that the medications he uses are not effective enough to help him in his current condition. When meeting with Jenny, the guy asks to provide him with documents so that he can buy more effective drugs. The girl offers to fulfill his request after completing an important task. The mission is that the guy has to destroy a cosmetics factory to destroy a competitor for Jenny's customer. It turns out that together with Lennox, his new partner named Dylan will perform the task. During the task, Dylan is attacked by a humanoid crocodile named Kroken. It turns out that the main character's partner is familiar with the monster. After greeting, the couple begins to fight. Lennox was able to accomplish his plan and he mined the building, after which he set a timer for 5 minutes. The main character followed the fight of Dylan and the crocodile. At one point, the young man realizes that his partner has no chance of winning and decides to help him. When the monster loses consciousness, the guy and his new acquaintance move away from the cosmetics factory, and at this moment a powerful explosion occurs. The partners think that the Kroken died under the rubble, but suddenly, the crocodile survived and wants to take revenge on his opponents. Despite the powerful attacks of the main character, the monster remains alive. Suddenly, a mighty girl named Evelina comes to the aid of Dylan and Lennox. It turns out that the girl is a government agent. The main character realizes that Evelina is a girl who sold him vegetables at the market. The agent helps the partners get rid of the Kroken and the monster runs away. The main character continues to use Vipers. Dylan notices this and claims that an invention that supports physical abilities is very dangerous for the human body. Lennox understands this, but he can't stop using Vipers anymore. The young man was severely exhausted and could not leave his apartment for 10 days. When meeting with Jenny, the main character takes the money and goes to make fake documents. The guy meets with a programmer who reports that the fake identity document of the owner is unreliable, so Lennox advises to contact a more influential person. After a while, the main character contacts Jenny again and finds out where to find better vipers. Lennox arrives in a developed area of the city and finds an outstanding chemist who creates high-class drugs that can increase a person's physical and magical abilities. An elderly man sells the main character expensive vipers, which were created from natural plants. With the money he earned, Lennox managed to purchase a personal apartment. During regular magic training, Jenny contacts the guy and informs him that she was able to find a decent job for him. At the meeting, the girl informs that a detachment of mercenaries needs the help of a magician. It turns out that the squad was hired by an organization whose building was seized by villains. They call themselves scavengers. After a short conversation, the main character agrees to complete the mission. The next day, Lennox meets with a squad of mercenaries. The head of the group named Dre tells the plan and orders to begin storming the building. The main character manages to kill an enemy magician at a great distance. After that, the young man informs the squad that now is the best time to attack the villains. The maximum magical power was required from Lennox and the guy decides to use a viper. After that, the main character uses a powerful magical lightning attack and kills most of the scavengers. During the battle, the opponents realize that the strongest in the ranks of the mercenary squad is the main character. One of the leaders of the scavengers attacks an outstanding magician and plans to kill him in order to change the outcome of the fight. As a result, Lennox easily neutralizes the villain. After clearing the building, the detachment of the head of the mercenaries returns and discovers that part of the group that remained on the street is wounded. All the mercenaries were seriously injured, but not killed. Dre and the main character realize that it was done by a professional killer and soon find him. It turns out that the villain is a magician who uses black magic. In order for his powerful magical abilities to work, he needs to eat people. Suddenly, a man attacks the entire mercenary squad and starts killing a group of one person at a time. The main character decides to engage in battle with a monster who uses black magic. After some time, the villain and the young man are severely exhausted, but they continue to fight. As a result, Lennox uses a powerful magical ability and severely injures the detractor. The surviving mercenary units neutralize the villain, but I don't know how to kill him. At this moment, the main character finds a magic thread with which black magic circulates in the enemy's body. When the guy was able to pull out all the mana of the enemy, the man aged a lot and weakened in an instant. The main character holds a hostile mana in his hands. The young man was forced to dispel it. At this moment, a member of the mercenary squad named Wayne is amazed at the magician's abilities. The main character realizes that the young man was born with a great sensitivity to mana because the other mercenaries did not even notice that Lennox stole the mana of black magic from a villain who ate a lot of people. Wayne says that he dreamed of becoming a magician, but he did not have the opportunity to learn it. That is why the young man became a mercenary. After these words, the main character gave parting words to the guy and said that Jenna might have a job for a new magician. After a while, Lennox meets with Jenny and tells about what happened. Suddenly, the girl reports that after many completed tasks, an outstanding magician receives a lot of job offers. The owner of the bar provides a huge list of customers and says that the magician needs to choose the next mission soon. After a while, the main character sorts all the offers received and chooses to work for an organization for the production of medicines. 2 months later, Lennox still has not received a response from the organization and decided to work as a bounty hunter. After another murdered criminal, the main character returns to the bar to Jenny. There he met a man named Sebastian. The man claims that he does the same thing as the hostess of the bar. Sebastian claims that his payments are very different from the amounts that Jenny gives. He gives the card to the guy and soon leaves. Suddenly, a representative of an organization named Luan enters the bar, from which the main character was waiting for an answer. The manager of the company says that their organization is creating an expensive drug that will be donated to those in need. Unfortunately, competitors who cooperate with the government intend to take away the patent for the manufacture of the drug. In fact, the medicine has already been created, but it needs to be delivered to the patent agency. This is exactly what the main character should do. Lennox realizes that Luan is trying to deceive the guy. The young man begins to request confirmation that bandits and other drug hunters will not attack him. It turns out that the organization's plan is that an outstanding magician will deal with the bandits and perform 2 tasks at once. Suddenly, for the manager, Lennox and Jenny request an increase in the amount of remuneration. The director of the organization agreed to raise the fee, and Luan and the main character went to the place where the drug is located. Upon arrival, the young man discovers about 10 people. As a result, Lennox quickly neutralizes the enemy and penetrates into the drug storage of a large organization. The guy takes the drug and decides to destroy the bandits so that they do not cause problems. The main character prepares for battle and sets traps on the territory of the company's drug storage. Night, the criminals have arrived. More than 150 people were ready to attack the vault and destroy everything that is there. It turns out that the leader of the criminal group is a magician named Grimm. Lennox orders his allies to close their eyes and open fire on his command. The main character's plan was successful. The guy understands that he has to deal with the leaders of criminals. Suddenly, one of the leaders of the bandits becomes enraged because of the insults and turns into a bloodthirsty werewolf. At this moment, the villain attacks Lennox. It turns out that while the young man was fighting with his opponent, all this time Grimm was casting a spell. When the main character managed to neutralize the werewolf, the second leader of the group attacked the young guy. Grimm's magical abilities were very weak. Because of this, the main character managed to catch the magician by surprise. Grimm begs for mercy and promises to be useful to the young man. The young guy understands that safety and fulfillment of the task are above all, and that is why he mercilessly kills the bandit. At that moment, the werewolf regained consciousness and attacked Lennox. As a result, the young man defeats the monster again and realizes that the man is only half a werewolf, and that is why the head of the criminal gang turned out to be so weak. The main character finds the Grimm's magic staff. The young man decides to take it for himself and try it out in action. Lennox can't figure out what the staff is for. At this moment, the young man feels a very small surge of mana. After that, the young guy decides to throw away the staff because it is useless. The next day, the main character put the storage in order and received permission to take several samples of different drugs. The guy decides to take some medications for fatigue and insomnia, which prevent him from living. Lennox had to deliver the necessary drug to the patent agency and submit a mission report. Suddenly, on the way out of the vault, the young man stumbles upon the Grimm staff. The guy plans to sell it to buy vipers. Upon arrival at the agency building, the main character was met by a representative of the 10th district. Lennox thinks that Grimm was a companion of an elderly man. The guy decides to give the man the staff of the magician he defeated. Suddenly, the old man offers the main character to work for him personally. After Lennox told Jenny about what had happened, the girl flew into a rage. She claims that it is very dangerous to get involved with aristocrats. At this moment, the girl's phone receives a payment for completing the Lennox task. The girl transfers the required amount to the guy, and they say goodbye. Immediately after that, the young man becomes very ill and he goes to buy a new portion of the viper. The main character uses the drug and feels much better. Do you want the second part? Write about it in the comments. Subscribe to the channel. Love you.